I've been thinking of a way to try and help the people that are addicted. And I've come across some useful information in finding a way not to treat withdrawal as such a mountain of an obstacle and just brush past it. So we've talked before about being in beta when you're awake in the day, and being in alpha when you're falling asleep, you're more relaxed. Being in theta when you're almost asleep or when you've just woken up and you're even more relaxed. So your conscious mind is about 5% of your potential. The 95% is subconscious mind. And to change something in the subconscious mind, you have to go through it. You have to go through it in the material world is the best way, because you have to feel it and experience it. So you've got to introduce it into the 95% that you're not even accessing. Your subconscious. Your subconscious knows everything you've gone through, so you have to go through something better so it can tap into that and serve you. So your 5% of your conscious day, you're being triggered and you're reacting with old patterns, and you're in a loop and it's killing you. You're in a different room than that 95% of subconscious. So you know you have to get through withdrawal. Oh, that's terrible. No, this is something you got to get through. You just got to get through it. I'm sorry. But how? Well, that 5% that you're operating throughout the day on, that beta level, that's a frequency that's busy and reactive and problematic. So the truth is, there's just no way to solve a problem on the level that the problem exists. There's no way you can solve your problems, any of them, in your waking mode, in your problem thinking. So you see why you need to get into theta, or at least into alpha state? Because you know what happens when you're relaxed? This is biology, this is chemistry, on every level. This is truth. Why you get into theta or alpha? Because that's your solution level. You can find solutions in that level, and you can't find them in the lower beta level. So it's not that hard. You can't freak out at everything. You got to find a way. I mean, look how resourceful you are in the way that you do unfortunate things that you're going to be sorry for. Look at the resourcefulness you have doing that stuff. So, can you get into theta? Come on, can you do it? Can you relax? Best thing is to do it right before you go to sleep or right when you wake up. But you can also do it during the day. When you're going through withdrawal, you're going to have to get out of that 5% level. You're going to have to get out of that 5% level. You're going to have to jump up a level. But you can't force it. You've been trying to force getting better half your life. Does it work? No. It's a flow. It's a beautiful flow. But withdrawal feels bad. It feels bad not only in chaotic thoughts darting everywhere, but in your emotions. You feel worthless and overwhelmed, and even in your body you feel like you're gonna puke. your heart, your muscles even. You feel like you got the flu. But if you know that this is in the program of what you have to experience in evolution, there are a lot of people in the world like you. There is a gamut of different kinds of people. There are people that have gone through addiction and are fine. But you know what? They might have gone through it in a different lifetime, in a different sojourn. However life works, repeating itself and on the other side. They're not dealing with that right now. And someday you won't be dealing with it anymore either. But if you're going through a hard few moments and you're in beta, do what you can to get in your relaxation. Don't make things more chaotic. Take breaths, because that puts you in tune. It puts your thoughts and your heart and your nervous system in tune to take breaths. And the out breath, let's go. So that's a first step. And then all the baggage you're carrying, let's say it's in a cup, you got to pour that out, because it's got to be empty. When you're in the relaxation mode, you're tapped in to the ocean of existence. Sounds corny. It's real in the most real way there is. You're tapped into intelligence. It's pure intuition. The 5% you're operating from in your normal waking state can be turned off. And you can enter into that 95% of the energy of the whole universe, the library of everything that is. Don't think so small. Finally, you've got to realize the big picture. We're just a wave. There's an ocean you tap into. And there's intuition in that ocean. And you can't get it in survival mode or nervousness or negative emotion. You can get it in relaxation. And withdrawal feels awful. You've got to get over that once and for all. Empty that cup any way you can so that it can be filled with evolution. And the end of that loop that you've been in, programmed the same way over and over from your past. Things you learned that you thought were right. But you got to think outside of the box. That's why we're here. There's a source out there. It's not just fiction. We're here to learn how to tap into that. And you got to do it. You're in a position where you don't have a lot of options. And believe it or not, that's a good thing, because you'll do it. This is your chance. So in conclusion, your opportunity to access all the potential of who you truly already are is hidden from you until you seek it out. And you can't seek it out in anything but quiet, focus. So the little part of us that is in chaos lives every day that way and doesn't ever creep into the ocean of relief. But nature has all kinds of little doors. The natural process of life is to help. And the reason we're in a body is to venture and experience so we can pass out of it at some point, having learned what we needed to experience so we can attain higher levels of evolution. The state akin to sleep is nature's secret little passage. And we are evolving. We've evolved to start knowing this. And as everything in nature, the path of least resistance gets us there, which means it's much easier than we knew. And why does the subconscious mind only serve up to the little conscious mind anything that it already believes, instead of the knowledge and wisdom of all that is that you haven't been accessing your subconscious. You've been exercising your free will to believe you're a little self, not a big expanded source self. That's hard to fathom. Yes, the subconscious mind is the mind of God. It's the overseer. It's the soul. It's the higher dimension of you. So you're not the little chaotic conscious mind at all. You're stuck there. And you'll keep being stuck until you pass that grade, until you pass grade 12 on planet Earth, where you need a body to experience, so to learn. You don't learn if you just read about things. Thus, here comes addiction, one of the biggest lessons of all. Being attached to something, not letting go. Big lesson to learn, but crucial. And crucial to get on with it. What a relief. Skip over it. Having put your body through it and finding the way out through this little passage into a bigger room that is you. That room didn't know how to serve you, the whole you, on a platter. It needed you to find out how to do that. And that's the whole lesson. So let's move on from addiction. And finally, to qualify a couple things I spoke about. You know how I said that the subconscious knows everything about you, but it can't serve you all of the knowledge of the world because you only have capacity for what you've experienced and what you believe out of those experiences. So I said you have to experience new avenues and new vistas of exploration that are positive in order to start changing what your subconscious gives you back. And that's why we have our bodies on Earth, is to go through cause and effect and experience enough that we can progress. After all, in my Father's house there are many mansions. This isn't the only type of place there is. So yes, experiencing in the body, that gives the subconscious that big vast wisdom realm more information in which to learn about itself. But also, instead of always experiencing new things in your body, you can change what the subconscious gives you by remembering in a more positive way. See, time is malleable. The past is what you see as the past, and the future is what you project as the future. But if you've got feelings that are burdensome from the past, This also can be changed to your great benefit, because you can, in your theta state, in your quiet, illuminated state that's aligned without the static of being in the wrong channel, like a radio station. In your quiet theta state, you can pass by beliefs that you had that are sabotaging your view of your life, making you feel guilty about things. You might be walking along and you might all of a sudden feel terrible. And you have to stop and be the observer for a second and say, have I embarrassed myself? Have I done something deplorable? Check, check, check. I did this, and this morning, but that was okay. Even if it was a little questionable, it's fine. So you can go through your past like that. And anything that feels uncomfortable, just use your great imagination and say, well, this is what I meant, this is what I said. I've improved, so I'll improve my past. This argument or this unfortunate situation can be fixed by me answering this instead, and give it something to answer. So in that way, you're cleaning up your past, and you're giving your subconscious more understanding that it can mirror back to you, and a lighter burden, because you know that you're moving along. And isn't that what we do? We spend a life here, and you can think of it as an obstacle course. You know how those ninja kids go through those obstacle courses? You get to the end, and you press on the buzzer, and you've done it. But addiction was part of it. It was an important part of it. And you slipped into that just like everybody else does at some point in time. And maybe you had a hard time of it. Like that obstacle course. You were doing fine, and then all of a sudden you went into that. And it was maybe like that big barrel that rolls around and around. You tried to get through it, and you rolled up the side and fell down. Rolled up the side and fell down. You were afraid of it. I don't want to go through that barrel. That's the hardest thing. And there you are, falling down. Get up, fall down. You can't figure it out. It's a trick. But look at all the kids that went all the way through. They just kind of zipped through that part. There it is. And one last thing. If you just finish something and you're rushing on to the next thing, don't get in a bind. Do you have to do the next thing right away? Line up for it, which means taking a break, resting a little, and then waiting for your alignment in the quiet. And then, believe it or not, you'll all of a sudden start feeling like, okay, my next thing. Give yourself a break sometime.